Just give me the cue call, and then I.
Hold on. JJ, go.
Congregation of the Sports Hit List, it is finally time. The time is here, July 22nd, 2020. The conversation, the debate between the two media men, Carl Coulange versus Ray Jarvis, 2008 Boston Celtics. Are they overrated or not? We have these two people here today. Guys, fellas, how you doing?
What's going on? What's going on?
I'm ready. Just tell me know when. Just I'm ready.
He ready.
Long time coming. It's time we put the promos to bed and get to work, because special shout out to the Sports Hit List group, the Gray Area, and everyone who's watching.
Yes,
please make sure you share this video.
I'd like to say one thing, on a positive note before it goes wherever it goes. I want to salute to you, Carl, and I want to big up myself as well for us, being consistent during this quarantine season as sports comes around. There's a lot of people who got stuck in the mud, a lot of people who had false starts, a lot of people who just didn't get anything done. But we continue to generate the content, and here we are about to cook up again. I'm ready to, knock you off your perch, but I had to big you up beforehand. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Same to you, man. I think we did a great job building this. It's just to get people interested.
Absolutely.
And you do a great job on your podcast. JJ does as well. And I think it's going to be a great show.
You got a podcast, JJ?
Yeah, we have the wrestling podcast, Backstage Brawl. Shout out to you guys. We're actually going to record after this live recording. But just coming on here, especially with the Knicks shirt, because we're talking basketball. We talking. I know. We talking. Celtics. But I had to bring a little New York experience because I had to remind Carl which state he lives in. That being said,
do you know what I call the Knicks? Like I don't know if you're familiar with what I call the Knicks organization.
What you call us?
I'll tell you after the debate.
All right. But before we get into it, have a little layout just beforehand,
okay.
Just to want to establish. So championships, right?
Mm-hmm.
Championships have validated media perception with players. As stars who have fell short in the playoffs have been labeled as choke artists, bums, and have even been labeled as overrated.
Mm-hmm.
Now, leading into, this debate now, it's kind of these teams that have been labeled as overrated. So for you, Ray, is it fair to is it fair to bash the Celtics in regards to them coming all together 2008 and then winning the championship? 2 years after that, they go to the finals against the Lakers. Kendrick Perkins is injured. 2009, Kevin Garnett is injured, and before long, the LeBron James Big Three comes in.
Right.
Swoops in. So, is the argument of being overrated, is it fair to them because of how they came together and how late in their careers?
What kind of question is that? What do you mean? Is it fair to them? I don't understand the question. That's the entire basis of the discussion. I of course I believe it's fair if I'm the one who set the tone.
No, but to be to keep it 100, because there's been so much sports teams. Let's say the 2012, you could go back in basketball, 2012 Knicks. You have all these different other basketball teams that have come together. 2004 Lakers have failed to live up to these expectations. Celtics, in one fell swoop, went from a bottom feeder to a successor. So it is something to be said.
So I'll say this to answer your question without showing my hand, because if I would have said that the 2008 team in particular was overrated, then I would hear you. But because the basis of this discussion is the entire scope of the years that Kevin Garnett played with the Celtics, of course I can say that. I didn't say 2008. I said the era. And the championship gets the respect it deserves. They won. But if we were talking about it in a vacuum, or let's say even if it was 08 to 2010, then we could talk about it. But I'm talking about all of them years KG was there.
So let's get into it. The floor between you two is yours, essentially. Opening statements for yourself, Ray Jarvis.
Losers first.
Well, my opening statement essentially it's going to be directly responding to what Carl said that got this whole thing rolling when he made a statement about, what was it? Giving energy to that particular organization and that particular group of guys. And I found that to be extremely ridiculous because as sports fans, this isn't Love and Hip Hop. Like the fact that he even said that, he sounded like a cast member on Love and Hip Hop when they do the reunion show. Why are you giving it energy? What do you mean? We're sports fans. Specifically, I'm a Laker fan. He's a Celtic fan. So if I see that organization, by default, there's going to be a lot of energy given. When you go to a Celtic game and the Lakers are in town, even the Clippers, BLA resonates. So to say, why give it energy defeats the purpose of being a sports fan. Why give it energy when we're right here? Like, we're giving it energy. That is our jobs. That is what we do. We give it energy. So I just wanted to be clear that that 6-minute video you made about a month ago was hot garbage and a ridiculous take that you should say for reality shows. We give energy to things because we're sports fans, Carl. You're the media man. You're supposed to know that.
Well, you know what? Ray actually touched upon my first point, was the fact that if you notice in all of his promos, he did not one time mention that he's a Laker fan. And I found that pretty interesting, that a Laker fan makes a comment saying that the KG era Celtics are overrated. Mm-hmm. Why should we be able to take his comment seriously? Because we know Laker fans, or what I like to call Flaker fans, never have anything serious to say about the Celtic fans. They will never say anything positive. That's one. Number two, during the group, if you are in the group, special shout out to the Sports Hit List group, Ray Jarvis posted an if scenario. And you know I don't like using the words if, but he posted an if scenario. Kevin Garnett was supposed to go originally to where? The Flakers. And that trade got nixed. So hold on, I'm not finished yet. I'm not finished.
Don't speak in generalities.
Listen, I'm not finished, but I'm not finished yet. I let you make your opening statement. Let me make mine. Let me make my statement, though. You see what I'm saying?
Go ahead. Don't reference anything that I talked about. You say if scenario. What if scenario? That's all I'm asking.
You made an if scenario. You made a post that said, "What if Kevin Garnett became a Flaker?" That's exactly what you said.
That's what I want to know.
So therefore, what's your motive? Is your motive that you're jealous that we got Kevin Garnett or not? What's your motive behind your comments? It has everything to do with it, because he became a Celtic and not a Flaker. That's all I'm just saying for the people to know, for the people to understand, is that a Flaker fan makes a comment about the Celtics being overrated. Are you going to take him seriously or not? No, it's simple, because he's biased.
You took it seriously, Carl. You already not making sense.
Come on, man.
We here on your platform.
So I can explain to you why your comment doesn't make any sense.
You contradicting your point.
I'm not contradicting any points. I'm telling you. Listen, I said what I said. You're still upset that you didn't get Kevin Garnett. Just say it. It's been 13 years. It's been 13 years since you didn't get Kevin Garnett, and he's still upset about it. If you were in the 7th, you wouldn't have posted it.
Now you're making things up.
I'm not making things up. You made it relevant again by posting it.
You brought up something that has nothing to do with the topic. Then you contradicted yourself. You suck at this. Like, this is terrible.
It's not terrible. I made a point. I made my opening point.
Well, that's a trash point.
Okay, cool.
That's the opening statement?
Cool. That is my opening statement, because, again, like I said, I find it very convenient. In none of your promos, you mentioned the fact that you're a Laker fan. It's simple.
Moderator,
okay.
save him.
Please.
So Carl, you talk about, like, basically how KG went from like, he was supposed to go. He had the Suns, the Mavericks. Eventually, he ended up Suns, Mavericks, Lakers, and then he eventually went to the Celtics, basically spurning Kobe-led Lakers, and then, the years ensued. My question to you is kind of in retrospect, but it lend towards the present, because you are known to be in the chat to be a guy who would label certain stars as quote-unquote bums, namely a guy like a James Harden, potentially a guy like Kyle Lowry. Now, for people who, at least the first chapter of their career, star potential, superstar, and kind of crack under pressure, and are labeled as these guys, right? And, they're criticized by, say, us. Guy like Paul Pierce, he had a similar rise where he had minimal playoff success, with the Antoine Walker years. And then in the mid-2000s, he fell off, and then he eventually won. So my question to you would be, if we were to say not overrate the Celtics, let's say if, your stance is Celtics, well, your stance is, of course, not overrating the Boston Celtics of 2008 all the way to 2013. Could we give the same credence to stars like a James Harden and the Houston Rockets? Could we give the same credence to people like a Kyle Lowry, and the Toronto Raptors years? Like, would that be a case? Because
can you rephrase your question? I don't understand
put the phone on vibrate.
So pretty much,
That's not me.
It's just a certain consistency basis, right? Paul Pierce was a guy who was nice. He was essentially pretty much Devin Booker.
Paul Pierce had no help in his earlier years. It's
Exactly.
the same thing with Kevin Garnett. It's the same thing with Ray Allen.
Exactly.
Those guys had no help in their earlier years. So
that being said, they did go to the playoffs. That they did underperform. They did have certain labels to them to the point of which people were like, hey, I don't know if they're like that guy, like that real. And then they win one championship. Now they're validated. So what I'm saying to you is, would you give the certain credence to guys like a James Harden or things of that nature?
Well, James Harden, if you look at James Harden has had, I believe he's had more than enough help, and he still hasn't been able to get where he needs to get. So, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about James Harden because that's not the topic that we're here to discuss. We're here to discuss.
Can I answer that? Can I answer the question?
But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. What he's saying is that you pick and choose who you want to give certain critiques to. Paul Pierce, early in his career, pre-KG, had a couple of playoff runs. He didn't get it done. He was on lottery teams. He was generally another guy in the NBA prior to KG. So what he's saying is that you might kill a James Harden, but you probably move the goalposts for Paul Pierce.
But what does that have to do with the topic that we're talking about today? That has nothing to do with the topic, though. What does that have to do with the topic? That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
That's the moderator. It ain't me.
I still have other points to get to my other points, though. I still have other points. So I don't know what that question has to do. I don't think that question is valid enough to what we're here to debate. That's just me.
I only ask that because it's like he's a part of the team, right? Mm-hmm. He is let's say if we were to say overrate Paul Pierce, quote unquote, overrate Paul Pierce. James Harden, he has this critique. He has this criticism. Now, help or not, he's underperformed. Similar to how Paul Pierce is quote unquote underperformed.
Well, I will say this though, you can't put Paul Pierce and James Harden in the same stratosphere because Paul Pierce was a star, maybe a superstar in Boston. Paul Pierce never averaged the numbers that James Harden came close to even averaging. Paul Pierce was never an MVP.
So
I'm not going to sit here and say that.
So you're saying more or less
the expectations for James Harden were completely higher than it was for Paul Pierce, and that's and that's just it doesn't take a rocket science to figure that out.
Fair enough. You did say that you had a couple of points. Carl, go ahead, brother.
So my other points were looking at the Boston Celtics when they did get together. This is my second point. When they got together, they were the age of 32, 31, and 30. Kevin Garnett had already played 12 seasons. Ray Allen had already played 12 seasons. Paul Pierce had already played 9 seasons in the NBA. Normal times for players when they win their championships, they're in their peak of their primes at the age of 24 and 25. Looking at the NBA and looking at when teams formed, which you quote unquote call dynasties, all those teams were together in their primes. When the Miami Heat got together, they were at the age of 24, 25, and 25. Even with the Steph Curry Warriors, they were all in the peak of their primes.
Right.
The Celtics got together late in towards of their careers, and they were still able to turn it around and win one championship. And the other part of it is that people don't seem to negate is that all teams, when they do get together, it takes them a couple of years for them to get together to win championships. The Celtics did it in one season. You look at the Warriors, it took 3 seasons for them to collectively get together, draft their players to win a championship. Miami, it took them 2 seasons. Even you look at the Miami Heat of 2006, it took them 2 seasons to win. Kobe and Shaq Lakers, how many years did it take them to get together to win a championship? The Celtics were able to turn that around in 1 season and win.
Okay. All due respect. But since when does early 30s constitute not in your prime? Like at the end of the day, they might not have played the early part of their prime together, but the fact remains is all 3 players got together in their primes. They weren't considered to be an also ran when they got together. They got together and they were considered the prohibitive favorites to win the championship day one because they were all in their primes. So this whole topic about their age is irrelevant. If you want to say that they were on the tail end of their prime, then be clear. But at the end of the day, they were all still in their prime, very much so, and they hit the ground running because of that. These are facts.
And I disagree with that because if you look at Kevin Garnett, I do disagree. No, I'm going to disagree with that because Kevin Garnett at his prime won MVP. What are we talking about? Kevin Garnett at his prime won MVP. Paul Pierce at his prime was averaging 26. He was top 5 in the league in scoring. He was top 5 in the league in scoring when he was in 08.
It's not in the prime. That's what you're saying now, Carl?
I'm sorry?
Put the goalposts down and stop moving them.
I'm not moving any goalposts. I'm not moving any goalposts. We had this discussion. On the sports hit list, and you were on the segment. It's not ridiculous. When we talked about prime, we talked about it on the show. We talked about it on the show. You see what I'm saying? He was on the sports hit list segment when we talked about. See, again, we had a Sports Hillers segment where we talked about prime and we were talking about age, and now you want to change the narrative. What are you talking about?
I did not say 31 was out of the prime.
Come on, man. He was out of his prime. He was out of his prime. Kevin Garnett was 30. He was out of his prime. Ray Allen was 32 years old.
Can't save you today, Carl.
Okay, I'm not lying. Go ask anybody. LeBron James. Okay, so LeBron James is in his prime right now, and he's 34 years old. Yeah, move the goalpost again.
That was 2 stops.
Move the goalpost again. Thank you.
Get the hell out of here, Carl. 31, you're still in your prime. What are you talking about?
Okay,
get out of here.
Cool. After playing 12 seasons, you're still in your prime. Got it.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell that.
Came out of high school,
I'm gonna tell that. Meanwhile, you have players who retire after 12
prime.
seasons, and they're still in their prime. I understand. Their prime is when they played at their best. Kevin Garnett individually at his best was in 2004 when he made it to the Western Conference Finals. Those are the facts.
You want me to say it again? They were all
Those are the facts. I gave you the facts. I gave you the facts. You just
doesn't matter what you say. They were in their prime.
You don't agree with the facts. I just gave it to you. They were in their prime. They weren't in their primes. No, they weren't.
Yeah, they were.
No, they weren't.
So Ray, as Carl,
you know what prime is.
Carl did come with his points. You did have rebuttal. But do you have any potential points you want to, basically counterpunch this boy with?
I'm not even understanding your questions. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, bro. What, counterpoint to what? I just gave him a counterpoint.
He wants to know, do you have any points to add to yourself? What points did you bring to the table today? That's what he's asking.
So why do we have a moderator here? We can just talk to each other.
JJ, do you have a question? Or because clearly he doesn't have a point that he'd like to make. So go ahead, JJ, please.
I mean, hey, listen, Ray. We touched on the Celtics injury concerns. We touched on the the age and whatnot. You did mention before you guys got into it a little bit that it's one thing to have a prime, it's another thing to be at the tail end of it.
Which is what I said. That's why you asked me for a rebuttal. I gave a rebuttal. I just said that but they were in the tail end of their prime. That's what I said.
So if it's one thing or another, is Carl allowed to basically say, hey, listen, they were at the tail end of their prime? Because
again, had Carl said they were at the tail end of their prime, I would have nothing to say. But because he said they were out of their prime, that is extreme hot garbage. To the overarching point of this conversation, excuse me, sir. Yeah. To the overarching point of this conversation, they came in 2008, they won the championships. Kudos to them. I gave them their credit on that because, again, we're going to be clear. This topic came up because of something I said about the era. We keep talking about 2008. Let's get into 2009. 2009, they didn't get it done, right? 2010, they didn't get it done. In fact, they lost in the second round of 2009. 2010, they swung back, they got to the finals. Kudos to them, but they lost again. 2011, they lost again. 2012, they lost again. 2013, they got beat in the first round by the Knicks. That's the KG era. That team is not a dynastic group. They won one championship.
And nobody ever called them a dynasty.
And after that, they failed to get it done.
Whoever called them a dynasty. Whoever called them a dynasty. No one ever called them a dynasty. No one ever called them a dynasty.
They didn't get it done.
He glosses over 09. I'm not going to talk about 09. That's fine. That's fine. No one ever called them a dynasty. You see what I'm saying? Making up narratives. Whoever called them a dynasty. Did you ever hear Carl Kulas call them a dynasty? Did you ever hear Carl Kulas call them a dynasty?
They spoke the loudest and they lost the loudest year in and year out. So go ahead, Carl. Explain to me why they lost in 2009, in 2010. Because they were old? That's how you framing it? Oh, they were out of their prime? That's what you're going to say, Carl?
No, I'm not going to say that.
You already set the tone for the bogus take.
I'm going to call it facts.
See you coming, bro. You set the tone.
I'm going to let you finish and then I can talk. So finish.
You're failing me, bro.
So I can let you talk.
Go ahead, bro.
Are you done? Are you done or finished? You good?
Go ahead, Carl.
2009, I don't use 2009 as an excuse. You want to look at the facts? Kevin Garnett was hurt. Their best defensive player was hurt. 2009. Yeah. No team's going to win a championship with their best.
Hold on, Carl. So you're saying that? So what exactly are you saying?
Are you going to let me finish? Are you going to let me finish or not?
If you're going to bring up,
are you going to let me finish or not?
What are you saying?
He told me I can speak. Fine. This is the Ray Jarvis debate. This is the Ray Jarvis debate. This is the Ray Jarvis debate.
So what you saying? If he would have played, they would have won.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I did not say that. I did not say that. I just said Kevin. I just gave you a fact. I just said that he was hurt. I just said that he was hurt. Again, listen. He's not letting me finish. I'm not going to talk over you.
Go ahead, Carl. What you mentioned the injury for?
Then again, are you finished now? Because again, you said fine. Like as I said to you before, you want to look at the facts. Kevin Garnett was injured. That's all I said. I did not use an if scenario. Nobody knows what would have happened. I just gave you a facts.
No team.
I just gave you a facts. 2010.
No team would win without that. So therefore,
2010. That's not what I said. 2010.
With it.
2010. 2010. 2010.
Go ahead.
You done. 2010, they make it to the finals as a 4 seed. So you're looking at, and you're adding more age. So again, past their primes, you're looking at, you're adding 3 or 4 or 5 more years to 2010. They make it as a 4 seed, which nobody even believed that they would even made it to the finals in that year, and they still did it. As a 4 seed, they made it to the finals. They lose by 4 points in 7. A loss is a loss. I'm happy with that as a split.
Okay,
they made 1-1
because they were a 4 seed.
1-1, and you look at players not in their primes to win a championship. 1-1. Any fan would trade that in. By the time the Miami Heat got together, we already knew they weren't going to win. But
they
okay,
were like a 6 seed.
But okay, you see what I'm saying? Again, are you done? Are you done to let me speak?
It's not making sense to me, Carl. I'm sorry. I had no patience.
What sense am I not making to you? I'm basically trying to explain to you, but you're not listening and you're not understanding.
You keep talking about primes and seeds, all of these excuses. The
It's
Rockets
not excuses.
Won as a 6 seed, but older players.
It's not 60s. The Rockets were together before that, though. The Rockets were together, and it goes back to being together.
The year before.
Okay, so yeah, and they get Trigesta and they win. Who else was added to the Celtics that year?
Yeah, Carl.
Okay.
Go ahead, Carl.
No, you go ahead, because clearly this is the Ray Jarvis debate. You're not letting me talk. No, you
Because
cooking. Go ahead, please go ahead. Go ahead, please talk. Please go ahead, right ahead. Please talk, because you're not letting me speak.
I said enough.
No, you didn't. No, go right ahead. The floor is yours. JJ, take this away because he's not letting me speak.
I mean, hey, listen, Carl, he was making points in regards to like the injuries. I think that's a big underlying factor. However, whether or not they would have won, to Ray's point, it's basically, what ifs is whatever, you know what I'm saying? Also, game 7, Kendrick Perkins was missing in action in 2010, and Kobe had like 25 rebounds. Like, he was looking like Will Chamberlain out there. So Lord knows what. 2011, you already know what happened. Bron went God mode, basically wiped them off. So, ultimately you're looking at one ring.
They weren't expected to win in 2010, 2011. Nobody expected them to win that year. Nobody expected them to win once the Miami Heat got together. That's just a fallacy to believe that they were going to beat Miami like the 3-headed monster in Miami. I'll be the first person to admit that. No one expected them. Their window was from 2007 to 2010. The minute Miami got together, we knew it was over. And the other fact, again, that I want people to understand is Dwayne Wade himself said it. He said, why did the Miami Heat get together? To do what? To beat the Celtics. You mean to tell me that someone's going to say that to a team that's overrated? Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, said it himself as well. He said, Paul Pierce is one of the hardest players I've ever had to guard in my Hall of Fame career. You mean to tell me that that's somebody who's overrated? So you have other players who are around the league who know what the Celtics were capable to do are going to sit there and say that they're overrated. So again, I go back to the Dwayne Wade, and LeBron knows it. Why did LeBron go to Miami? To do what? Because they knew they couldn't get past the Boston Celtics. You can't call a team overrated since you can't get past them. I don't understand how that works.
If I'm not mistaken, Carl, you say this in 2020, but based on my fellow cohorts, even with this information in tow, back in the day, you still religiously picked the Celtics to win the championship during these times. So now, because it's 2020 hindsight, now you can say no one could expect. But at that time, you picked the Celtics. So what is it? You just want to win the debate, so you'll throw your own team under the bus to win?
No, I'm not. You're just looking at every year.
Have a shot?
Wow. Listen, okay. That has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it.
This?
Oh my goodness.
You look at the Detroit Pistons, the previous Eastern Conference dominator prior to Boston. There is no real difference in the two organizations. They both won one championship. They both got back to the finals and lost in 7 to a Western Conference power. And they both had long runs in the Eastern Conference. You don't see anyone celebrating Sheed and Chauncey Billups and these guys.
So what is it about? Is it about the celebrating?
The Boston Celtics were, like I said in the video, they were Adrian Broner. They are gatekeepers. They were a highly rated gatekeeper. They were bridesmaids.
So what is it about? So are you?
When it was time for the real teams to show up, they got up out the way. That's your squad. They know better than the Detroit team in the previous era.
And then he still ignored my point. And he still ignored my point about why Miami got together. He still ignored my point about why Miami got together. Quote for what Dwayne Wade said.
It's irrelevant because you.
How is that irrelevant?
Anyway,
how is that irrelevant? If Dwayne Wade said it. Dwayne Wade said it. Dwayne Wade said, but you
after D Wade, Braun, and Bosh got together. So what the hell does it matter now? You picked them. You believed in your team, and I'm telling you, your team was overrated.
So were you not supposed to? They were not overrated. The goal is to win a championship. The goal is to win a what? What is the goal? The goal is to win a championship. What is the goal in the NBA? The goal is to win a championship. Is the goal not to win a championship?
So Carson, go
Celtics win a championship. Fact, they won. So how can you say a team is overrated when they won a championship? No, I'm not done. No, I'm not done. Because again, you're basically saying that a team who won a championship is overrated. How is a team that won a championship is overrated? That means any team that won one championship is overrated. The Pistons are overrated. The 08, the 06 Miami Heat are overrated. The Mavs of 2011 are overrated. The Toronto Raptors, who are defending now, so they don't win this year, they're overrated. So by your logic, any team that wins one championship,
that's what you're saying.
Get out of here.
That's what you're saying.
Get out of here.
So you're saying
they were too old. Yes, they were too old. Yes, they were too old. By the time Miami got together, they were too old.
2 questions ago, they were too old. He set the tone with that bogus prime discussion to lay out a trap to where he could say they were old. They were old. Not that they were.
But they were.
Not that they were.
What are you talking about? But they were. Those are the facts. I'm telling you the facts. I'm telling you the facts. If young Karl Kulan's made a statement, we're not talking about young Karl Kulan's. But listen again. No, wait. Time out. Time out. Listen.
Catch him right now. Look how I'm gonna catch him right now.
Catch him in no way. Go ahead.
By me saying that the KG era Celtics were overrated, I'm saying that they were never that good to begin with. And Karl has come on this debate and essentially agree with me that that team was not that good.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said they were older. There's a difference between not being good and being older. When you're facing a team that has a 24, 25, and 26-year-old, and they're arguably the best players in the league, I'm not saying that. That's not what I said. Stop putting words in my mouth. That's not what I said. There's a difference between saying that they're not good enough, and there's a difference between saying that they're old enough. If you're going to go back and try to say about young Karl Kulan, you didn't even know me back then. So therefore, you know what? I can't.
You said that, Karl. I didn't say it. You did.
Wait. Wait.
Yo.
First off, shout out to all y'all. Y'all need to get in the corner. Just get in the corner. But you know what I mean? Would it be less like enduring or like this whole Celtics overrated thing? Would it be less of an issue if they weren't on TV? KG wasn't on Adam Sandler, like Bill's like promoting, Hidden Gems with Adam Sandler on Bill Simmons saying that LeBron was afraid of him. Paul Pierce and KG on and Kendrick Perkins on The Jump daily, all that stuff. Would it be less of an issue if they were like away from the public eye, similar to Pistons, Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, basically going every now and then to Boston, getting celebrated during a game night?
I just said this a second ago. Because they are the Celtics. The NBA has a luxury of having 2 Yankees level franchises in their league, right? As far as the lore goes. So because they were Celtics, because of the history leading up to the championship, because they were terrible prior to, right? They got together, they had a hell of a season, storybook, even though it took them 10 years to win that one championship, as far as the most playoff games ever played, they got it done, right? So of course they got held up to a higher standard. Karl is trying to go back in time.
Your basketball history?
Karl's trying to go back in time and try to shift things.
He wants to go back to the championship.
In 2011, that Heat Celtics matchup was a showdown. I vividly remember 2012, Game 6 in Boston. Everybody had Miami out of there. They weren't saying Boston wasn't good enough. They already had the eulogy for Miami written. So we're not going to change history. We're not doing that today. 2013, they crapped the bed. They only won 41 games. And Danny Ainge got him out of there. The team won one chip and underachieved. They underachieved for 6 seasons. They did.
They already did. But again, does underachieving translate to being overrated? Is that what you're basically saying? The word underachieved, does that translate to being overrated?
Yes.
I go back to the point. The goal was to win a championship. The goal was for them to win championship. The goal was for them to win a championship, and they won a championship. Yes, the goal was for them to win a championship, and they won a championship. I'm sorry. That was the goal. That was the end goal. The goal was for them to win a championship, and they got the job done.
You tried your best to make this about 2008, and I ain't letting you, bro.
I'm not letting them. I'm not. I answered your questions. I answered your questions. I answered your questions. I talked about all the other years. I talked about all the other years. Again, you're gonna put a team. You're gonna put Miami team.
They lost in 10. They lost in 11. They lost in 12. They lost in 13.
Because you're not gonna let me talk, and I explained each and every year. And you still didn't understand it. You still didn't get each and every year.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. The goal was to win the championship. All right. One champ. You're right.
Karl, this is awesome, by the way. But I kind of want to echo the same question to you, basically. Like, Is it this sensationalization of the Boston Celtics 08, them being on camera a lot, NBA The Jump, KG being, on camera every now and then, Rajon Rondo with the Lakers now. Is it them being in the public eye a lot that allows this debate to even be a topic of discussion?
It's part of the problem, because Ray, before he made his initial video that the Celtics were overrated, he kept harping on that point, which he didn't today. He kept saying over and over, Kendrick Perkins is on TV talking. Kendrick Perkins is on TV talking smack. And he kept saying that. And one thing that hit home to Ray Jarvis was Kendrick Perkins said it was harder to guard LeBron than Kobe. And Ray Jarvis got in his feelings and he got upset about it. And he made a 5-minute video about it. So I think that's part of the issue, where people, because they're in the media and they're speaking, people let to label them overrated and say, why is Kendrick Perkins talking about a Kevin Durant when he was never better than him? And keep in mind, these guys are being paid. It's a salary. It's a job. That's what they're paid to do, is to get clout and to make outlandish statements. That's what they do. So so at times, yes, do they make outlandish statements? Sure. But that's their job on television. I think that's part of the problem of them being on TV and saying things that people don't like or they disagree with, and then automatically labeling them overrated.
Yeah. Can I respond to that?
Go ahead.
Here's the deal. I said what I said in the video about Kendrick Perkins. And I do have an issue with them getting jobs, right? Yeah, it's cool that they're on the media, but the fact remains is they're terrible, right? And on top of that, sports fans, I'm not even going to talk to Carl. Sports fans, if you look at your favorite sports TV shows, you will see a current theme amongst all the talking heads from guys who play, right? Not the pregame shows that are held up, but your afternoon talk shows. A lot of those guys are what? Lovable losers. They were great personalities, but they didn't win very much. Scottie Pippen is the main outlier of that, but the rest of them didn't win much of anything. And the Celtics of the KG era, essentially over 6 years, were lovable losers. They got to the playoffs. So you have two players. They made you watch, and they lost.
Okay, so Shaq is a loser. So Shaq is so basically going by what he's saying. Shaq is a loser. Kenny's a loser. Charles is a loser. T-Mac is a loser. All those players. But again,
I said afternoon talking head shows.
Okay,
not
so
the pregame shows.
So it doesn't matter. Fine.
Open your ears, Carl.
So that means I did open my ears. I did open my ears because again, Kenny and them, they come on.
Man, right? Okay. How you don't know that?
I heard what you said, but I'm letting you know. Come on, man, get out of here. Stop it.
Inside the NBA is the best sports show on television. What are you talking about?
But clearly, they don't know what they're talking about. But okay.
Multiple Emmys. What are you talking about?
It's not necessarily the Barclays of the world he's talking about. Maybe it's the T-Max, T-Mac.
So T-Mac was a bum too. Got it. I'll keep that note. Yep, T-Mac was a bum too. A Hall of Famer was a bum. Got it. But that's what you said. That's what you said. Overall losers.
You got it. Lovable losers. They didn't win.
So clearly T-Mac is an overall loser. He's in the Hall of Fame. Got it.
He never got the first round when he led a team.
Understandable. I understand your point.
You looking for
I understand. I know my history. I got your history, my guy. Clearly understood. Hall of Famer is a loser. Understandable.
Yeah, I think we reached 30 minutes. How y'all guys feeling? Y'all good?
Great.
We got the next show waiting on, so this is the final points.
Yeah. Carl, last word.
I said what I said. It is what it is, man. Listen, the Celtics are not overrated. They got the job done. They won one championship. Ray Jarvis can't look at the hindsight of Carl Coulange when he never knew me and he's going by words of other people. Sure, every year I predict my team to win the championship. That's just the biased Carl speaking. But when you're looking at it unbiasedly, you're going to look at the totality of the ages. Those are the facts. Because again, he's going to go back and have to do research to reach out to Greg, reach out to Walmack, reach out to the entire group just to find research on what Carl said when Carl was 24 years old. That was 10 years ago. Was Carl at 24 picking his team to win the championship? Absolutely. Carl Coulange now on the sports media platform, different Carl Coulange. That's all I got to say. It's two different people.
Listen, you can try to do the cleanup job. You can say whatever you want to say. You tried the hindsight 2020 me, but I am a pro. In the KG era, Celtics are overrated. It's fine. They still got their championship because, as you said, the goal was to get a ring. They got a ring. But I never fronted on the ring. I said the totality of the situation was overrated. But look, anything's possible.
Anything's possible indeed. And, fantastic job by you guys, even leading up to the day, NWO versus DX, even having DX being in Boston colors. It rubbed me the wrong way at first. I'm not gonna lie. Rubbed me the wrong way at first.
Listen, he started with the wrestling promos and said, "I'm living my wrestling fantasy," and he was living his wrestling fantasy.
That was like the fourth video. The first video had nothing to do with wrestling, bro. I said that already. Stop trying to lie.
I'm not trying to lie. When you called me out and said I have 24 hours to respond, that was not an NWO video. That was clearly an NWO video. But again, you're trying to change the narrative.
About basketball using an aesthetic to entertain the people.
Sure, absolutely. Yes. Got it, Ray. Try to spin it around any way you want to. Try to spin it around. You try to spin it around any way you want to.
Let me get that T-shirt too.
I'm gonna mail it to you. Don't worry. Send me the address. I'll send it to you. No problem,
man. At least you do after you embarrass yourself on live.
I didn't embarrass myself at all. Clearly, my numbers are high, baby. I already know what it is. People are gonna vote for me. But we know what it is. They were voting for me. Shout out to the
shirt.
Sports Hit List fans, y'all vote who won. Basically DX versus NWO, Ray Jarvis versus Carl Coolidge, basically green versus purple and gold, just or whatever other, just do what it is. And special shout out to Shawn Michaels. Basically it's his birthday, so you know you have. I'm surprised
can't throw out a spot out because Ray Jarvis doesn't like Shawn Michaels, so it's all good.
Listen, that's another discussion for another day. That's another discussion for another day. I'm JJ, Ray Jarvis, Carl Coolidge.
I'm going to switch over to the next segment. Thank you for tuning in to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Our next debate is between Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. We have coming in right now Anthony Mullen and Andres to debate that. You guys can say hello to these guys as you guys log off.
What's up,
Anthony? Brooklyn? Could you turn your phone for me, please?
Brooklyn on Brooklyn.
Anthony, could you turn your phone?
Oh, take it easy, guys.
The other way, Ant. Let's see if you can. One more time, Ant. Turn it again. Turn it again, bro.
I had it the long way the first time.
There you go. All right. Thank you, JJ, for joining us. So now we are here to debate Steph Curry or Kevin Durant. Mr. Numbers, how you doing, bro? Did you tune into that debate?
I'm doing amazing, Carl. Healthy as I can be. My family's amazing. I'm amazing. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me once again, man. I appreciate you.
And we have Anthony the Flaker. I don't even want to introduce him to what his name is.
Anyway,
because I know where he stands.
For this segment, you can just call me Mr. Brooklyn. We just keep it there.
Mr. Brooklyn. I'll leave it there.
Mr. Brooklyn.
Okay,
Mr.
so
Brooklyn.
the topic at hand is.
Hold on. Carl.
Yeah.
I got to wave the white flag for you, bro. It was over. Yeah, I'm done with my popcorn. Yeah, it was over. He smoked you. Oh, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I paid you to see that, but all right. Are you done? Go get it out. Get it all out. You guys want to laugh? Just get it all out. Please. Get it out. Get it all out. This is what you guys want to do. Just laugh. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to laugh. Listen. Get it all out, my brother. Get it out.
I plead the fifth, man. Let's go. I plead the fifth.
No, go ahead, please. If you have something to say, this is a platform to say it. Say it to the fans watching. Because we have everybody watching. You have something to say. Say it.
No,
go ahead. No, go ahead. Say it because you had your popcorn.
The only problem that I have, right? The only problem that I have is the whole KG thing. In 2008, he was top 3 in Defensive Player of the Year and top 3 in MVP. There was no way you're out of your prime being a top 3 player and MVP in the.
And how many points did he average that year?
That's all. So did you?
That don't make you out of your prime.
Okay. Did you not just hear what I said? How are you gonna say he was how many points was he averaging when he was a top 3 player in Defensive Player of the Year and a top 3 MVP candidate?
I said what I said. He was passing.
And the year before that, the Celtics only won 24 games.
And let's not act like when, of course, super teams collide, since y'all was like the first of this era to start that stuff. Yeah, at first, we all should know when super teams first get together that everybody's numbers are going to dip. That does not mean they got they're not as good as they were. That just means they're sacrificing more.
You guys want to continue? Are you done?
Yeah, we're done. We're finished.
Yeah. He already finished it. We just wanted to put the last little tombstone on
little icing on the cake.
Yeah. Call tight.
Let me continue the show. Today, part 2 of this, we are here to debate Kevin Durant or Steph Curry. Andres believes that Steph Curry is better, and Anthony believes that Kevin Durant is better. Andres, this is your take. Where do you start?
Well, as I said before, thank you for having me. I think that the opportunity you give to a lot of people, guys like me, as youngins, it means a lot to me. Maybe a lot of people don't tell you, but me having a voice, it means a lot to me. So thank you, Carl, for that. And I want to say that we're not here to debate the better player. We're here to debate the all-time scale. On the all-time scale, if they're both retired tomorrow, Steph Curry is higher than Kevin Durant all-time. Steph Curry, prior to Kevin Durant joining Golden State, had won 8 series. He had better numbers than Kevin Durant, and he schooled him in games 5 through 7, where Kevin Durant went a ghost like Casper. There is no argument to be made for Kevin Durant being a better player than Steph Curry all-time, pre-Kevin Durant to Golden State and post-Kevin Durant to Golden State. I'm just going to start with that because we'll get into the details after. The floor is yours, Mr. Anthony.
Oh, my goodness. We can't be serious. Okay, first of all, let's start with no matter what the argument is, whether it's now, before, future Hall of Fame or whatever, it's all the answer will always be Kevin Durant. But okay, well, you know, being that you're a stat guy and stuff, we have to go through these things or whatever. As the numbers would say. Now, I like the fact that you, for one, initially changed the topic to, oh no, it's not who's better, but who's more likely to go to the Hall of Fame or who's more.
No. That's not what I said. I said who's higher on the all-time scale. Steph is higher.
Oh, even better. Who's higher on the all-time scale? Okay, and then what you chose to use was what, the last 3 years? Like, all right, so hold on, wait.
That's just the opening.
Hold on.
Okay, so
okay. And
I'm getting to my point. So I didn't know when it comes to career stats or whatever, they just take 3 years of your career and say,
I didn't use
let's
just 3 years.
No, can I finish?
Absolutely, okay. Boss. Absolutely, cool. Boss.
Now let's get into the real numbers. You know, the numbers that you like but don't want to say because you know.
Okay, let's get into it. Right. Absolutely.
Let's get into the fact that overall, KD has a better PER. He has more points per game for his career. The fact that he has more Finals MVPs than him. Does that matter? I'm just asking.
Continue.
Okay, cool.
No, continue.
Cool.
You're doing amazing. You're doing amazing.
If it doesn't, cool. Way more awards. I'm not sure if Steph has ever even been a scoring champ or whatever, but you know he shoots threes. That's cute. That's cute. So
continue.
Way more awards, better numbers. I'm trying to think of. Oh yeah, and then if you look at Basketball Reference and actually go to the Hall of Fame probability, you have Kevin Durant 100%. You have Stephen Curry 99%. On every scale, KD is better than Steph. So why exactly would you feel that he would go down as a greater player than Steph? Yeah, explain that.
You just said media awards, right? Because we like to get brainwashed by what some 11 idiots say, right? Correct?
No, I didn't talk about MVPs.
I'm asking.
I was talking about again, the scoring awards and stuff like that. Awards that you get not with the media voting, but actually putting up more numbers. And I actually don't like the way they give out the stat awards because they go by per game. They go by the average when it should be the total.
It should not be the total. This isn't football. This isn't
football. Go ahead. It should be the total.
The sample of games in NBA is 82, and in football it's 16 or 17.
Okay, so let me interject. So sorry to interrupt, but Andres, you're just projecting that by the end of their career, Steph Curry will finish better.
No, I'm saying right now, if they were both to retire right now, Steph is higher.
Because what? What are the points that make Steph higher than Kevin Durant?
Steph has more MVPs. He revolutionized the game. He's not the one that ran to Kevin Durant. He didn't? Do you want to look at you look at the
wait, hold on. Finish your statement. You said he wasn't the one who ran to Kevin Durant?
He wasn't the one that ran to Kevin Durant. He already had a ring won before Kevin Durant. I don't want to hear Curry and Love were injured. Love and Kyrie were injured because we're not.
Who recruited him to go to State?
I'm still speaking. We're not dealing with the hypotheticals of if Kyrie and Love were healthy. If you want to use that, then we could say, if Andrew Bogut was healthy and if Harrison Barnes knocking down shots. Moving on. Steph Curry has more MVPs pre-Kevin Durant. He won a ring before Kevin Durant. When Kevin Durant went to Golden State in 2017, the Warriors were outscoring their opponents by 21 points per game in the playoffs when Steph was on the court. When Steph was off the court, they were getting outscored by 2 points per game. They were getting outscored. Hear that right. They were getting outscored by 2 points per game. When Kevin Durant was on the court, they were outscoring their opponents by 16 points per game. And Kevin Durant on the bench, they were still outscoring their opponents by 10 points. So people say, oh, Curry couldn't get in there without Durant in 2019 because they lost to the Raptors. Okay, that's cute. In Game 5, Kevin Durant got hurt. God bless. Hopefully, we want a speedy recovery. Hopefully, he comes back to the assassin that he is. After Kevin Durant got hurt, Steph had 16 points, and the Warriors still won the game. In game 6, people know, if you've been living under a rock, then there's something wrong. In the first half, Steph had 0 points. And then in the second half, he had 33 points, which is like the most in a half. Against Portland, he averaged 37 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists on 66% true shooting percentage. He had 35-plus points in each game, and he had the most total points in a history in a sweep. There is no single argument that you can make for Kevin Durant to be over Steph Curry. And
you done?
Now, let's break it.
Oh.
No, I'm not done yet. Time out.
Oh, go ahead. My fault. Go ahead. I'm going to continue writing. Go ahead.
Steph Curry won 8 playoff series prior to Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant won 10, right? But he also played with Russell Westbrook. In 2013, when Russell Westbrook got injured by Patrick... I'm not done yet.
I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
When Russell Westbrook got injured against the Rockets, what happened against the Memphis Grizzlies? What did Kevin Durant do?
Oh, that's a question for me?
That's a question for you. Absolutely.
You said when Russell Westbrook got injured?
Against the OKC Thunder. When Kevin Durant was by himself against the Grizzlies in 2013, what happened?
What, did they lose the series?
They lost in 5 games. So the whole argument
you said that to say what? Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
So the whole argument saying that,
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Durant won more playoff series, but the one playoff series he played without Russ, he couldn't get it done. In 2016 against the Warriors, Russ was the better player against them. And you could check the stats, you could watch the games, you could do the eye test, the ball test, whatever test you want to use, you could go ahead and do it. The floor is yours, Senor Anthony.
Okay, I'm gonna just hop. I'm not gonna
take
anything. Yeah, I took my notes, and I'm gonna basically rebut everything he just said. Okay. He wanted to start with, KD didn't run to Steph. Oh, really? Who made it so? Who paved that way? Huh? Who was in the Hamptons begging KD to come save him after they had the greatest choke in finals history?
Draymond Green.
No, Stephen Curry.
No, it was Draymond Green. There's
look it up.
Hold on, Andres, let him have it speak. He let you speak. Let him speak.
Draymond initiated it, and then they all had everybody from management. Look it up. From management down to Steph Curry went over there and kissed his feet and let him know that they needed him. Why would anybody? That's another thing. I don't care if it's Draymond. It could have been the last person on the bench. Why is everybody going out begging KD, the killer, to basically join the team when they already have, a 73-9 winning team and so-called a player that's already better than him? Why? Because like even Kerr had to admit, they needed a killer. They had nobody when things got tough. This for my man, African Paul. When things get tough, when things get tough, Steph turns into Shaq when it's time to shoot. But when they're front running and things are good, then he's the greatest shooter ever. But when you need a bucket, when things are tough, where was he? Nowhere to be found. Why? And again, go back and look it up. Even Kerr admitted that they needed a killer. They needed somebody to say, give the ball to at the end in the playoffs, because that regular season game is cute, but in the playoffs, we're not running around 1,000 picks and all of that different. We don't need 400 picks. Just give the ball to KD and let him do what he do. Okay, but let's continue. Let's talk about when he joined that team. If he was the better player, why didn't the offense go through him?
The offense went through Steph. It did go through Steph.
It really didn't.
Did you watch the games? Did you watch the games?
Who's
the one?
Hold on.
Andres, let him finish. He's answering your points, man. Be fair.
So it went through Steph, even though KD was averaging more points and stuff, making it even clearer that he was the better player. That's what you're saying?
And Steph got double teamed every possession. That's correct.
And Kevin Durant don't get double teamed. How can Steph?
He wasn't getting double teamed.
With Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, and all these guys, when was Steph getting double teamed? What are you talking about?
Klay's numbers in the postseason were terrible. He wasn't doing anything. The reason why.
Why? Because nobody would leave him. Going back to the point of if nobody would leave him, then who was double teaming?
Nobody cared. It was the same thing in Game 7 in 2016. Draymond had 32 points because they let him shoot.
Okay.
If you're gonna lose the game, lose with him shooting and making buckets.
Like said, he joined the team and took over. This is when you can insert the look at me. I am the captain now. That's what he told Curry, and that's what he told all of them, which is why they had to adapt to him. They had to adapt to his game and make sure he was right. Exactly. Which is make him comfortable because it's his team now. That's his ship.
But Andre,
which is why. Okay, go ahead.
No, I just have a fair point just to make here. You made the argument about Finals MVPs, right? But just to be fair, Steph didn't win a Finals MVP when Kevin Durant showed up.
I was getting there.
And you said that.
See, look, that was the next one on the paper. One Finals MVP.
Okay, go ahead. No,
I
just want to throw that out there.
But go ahead, answer that. Yeah. Oh, that's all you gun in your face, and that's all you come out with.
No. Wait, no. Oh, okay. Wait, what's the question?
But I'm saying is, and you use Finals MVPs as being. You say Finals MVPs are better than regular season MVPs
for a superstar.
You're talking about, but when you're talking about Steph, you don't mention that he doesn't have one though. So how can he be better than someone
and that's how good he is. That's how good he is. He's a top 15 player of all time, and he doesn't have a Finals MVP. If you watch the games, listen to me. If you watch the games, you would know that Steph was getting double teamed every single possession. Look at all the wide open shots Kevin Durant had. Kevin Durant was before Golden State, he was a 54% true shooting percentage career in the playoffs. When he went to Golden State, it raised up by 15%. Why was that?
I bet, which is why I would have went to Golden State too.
Why was that?
Because he's on a better team. That's the reason he went there, because he wanted to be on a better team.
He was on a better team now.
Yes, that's a fact.
That doesn't mean anything though. LeBron
yes, it does. You asked me a question and I answered it. It rolls up because he was on a better team.
Because he had the gravity of Steph.
Yes, that's true.
Okay,
that's a fact. Wait. That fact doesn't make Steph better than KD.
How does that not make better though?
What?
How does that not make him better though?
That's like saying Draymond is better because Draymond was a glue guy and a key piece to making that team what it was.
Again, he was a glue guy. Without Draymond, you don't win the title.
Again, but so does that make him better than Kevin Durant? Does that make him better than Kevin Durant?
It doesn't make him better than Kevin Durant, but we're not talking about Draymond Green. Draymond Green was the glue. He's the one that kept Kevin Durant in check. He was the one that's saying, listen.
And there was a pecking order. Who was number 2?
After Steph, Kevin Durant.
How? Like what? How? Says who?
How?
Okay.
Listen, you like to say that Kevin Durant was a killer, right? Correct?
That's a fact. I don't like to say it. I just like to say facts.
From 2015 to 2020, in the clutch with 5 minutes left, Steph was better on 2-pointers than the whole NBA, better on 3-pointers than the whole NBA, better in 2s and 3s. Kevin Durant was too busy shooting 28% and 32% from 3.
Right.
Let me ask you a question.
And that's all you want to know why? Let's go back to, again, teams. Look at the team he was on prior. Your turn, my turn. Your turn, my turn. When he got to Golden State.
So what you're saying is Durant couldn't do it in OKC, and then when he got a better team, he was able to do it? So why couldn't he do it in
That's
OKC?
a fact. Like any player. No player can do it without a good team.
If Kevin Durant was that alpha, mega, omega, the guy everyone talks about, why couldn't he do it in OKC?
Team.
Oh, so now the team is important, but it doesn't matter. If you're the
it's always
the team has always been, but the team has always been.
We're talking about two different things. When you're talking about winning or whatever the case may be, that's a team thing. So we're going to talk about everybody. We're not giving that to one player. But when you talk about who's better,
let me ask this though. But let me ask this, guys. Let me ask this. Aside from the team, when we're looking at skill set and individually, is this what the debate is about, or is it about all their accolades and team accolades? So,
he feels that he's greater all time.
It's the all-time scale.
It's the all-time scale. So we're not breaking it down individually. So
individually.
Could I ask that question?
No, it has to be individually because, again, it's all time. And when you're doing all times, those are individual players. So it's individually. It's just that when you talk about greatness, you do have to include, the team stuff. But what he's trying to do, he's trying to pick apart Kevin Durant's team stuff as if his individual accolades still don't trump it. Like you can't say, "Oh, Steph has more rings," and then don't continue the rest of the part. What about the fact that he wouldn't have 2 of those rings had it not been for Kevin Durant, who led those teams?
Can you prove that?
Yes, I can. You want to know how? I love when people say that. I love when people say, "You want me to tell you how?" Like this. Look, go to every single game played, right? Every one of them. Minus what Kevin Durant did, and see how many games they will lose. That's my proof right there. That's my proof right there.
But you know,
that's my proof right there.
Andre says, objectively speaking, and here's the other fact that people do say: last year they lost. What was the primary reason they lost?
You talk about injuries. What happened when KD got injured? Where was your man?
You can't.
What happened when KD got injured?
They won against the Rockets. They won
last year. What happened when KD got injured in the finals?
They lost the series.
Yeah, why? No, and not just lose. How did Steph play?
He didn't play to his standards.
Okay.
Listen, I'm not biased. He averaged 31 a game, but if you break it down, he had like 2 or 3 good games.
That's why I don't go by average. Let's break that thing down, right?
100%. It's the same thing when people are trying to say that Paul Gasol deserved Finals MVP over Kobe. It's the same thing. I break it down for you, and in hindsight, Steph averaged 31. It looks good. But if you watch the games, he wasn't that good. I admit it. 100%. I'm not going to be biased. He was good in Game 3. And Game 3 had 47 points, but they were still losing by 15 points. So he didn't really have 47 points. I'm not being biased.
And to my point, when Kevin Durant came back in the game that he actually finished himself on, they were actually winning because of a one-leg Kevin Durant.
By 1 point.
How is a one-leg Kevin Durant still leading the team? Where was Steph?
So since you want
he was leading it before he got injured, he was leading the team in damn near everything.
That's one game, right? Since you want to break that down, in 2017, the Spurs were up by 27 points before Kawhi Leonard got hurt.
Right.
So the Spurs would have won that series too if Kawhi wasn't hurt.
Now, now you want to know what? If we see again, let's keep it in context because we're not just talking about somebody losing. We're talking about again the next man stepping up because you're the one who brought up KD losing when Westbrook got hurt. So again, it's about if he was that good, he should have stepped up and did this and that. So again, your man should have stepped up and did the same thing.
Real quick, let's go to a comment from a fan. Special shout out to Sarah joining. She said KD could not get OKC to a championship. He needed Steph Curry. That's from one comment from a fan.
No, they needed each other.
Amen. No. So why did Steph win the year prior?
Because injuries. The same reason they lost.
Carl, we don't
injuries.
Do we? Carl, do we do ifs?
Sure, bro. Send me a shirt, wait. So you mean to tell me the second and third best player on a team getting injured doesn't matter?
So if
I'm gonna ask that question again. I asked a simple question. The second and third best player on the team doesn't matter.
What year are you talking about?
I'm talking about 2000 and what was that? 17. 7 year they lost. 17, wasn't it? No, because they won 8. They won 17, 8 2016. 2016.
So
you know what I'm talking about. Don't play remedial.
15.
I'm talking about the greatest choke in the history of the history of the finals. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being up 3-1 with a 73-9 team and then losing. That's what I'm talking about.
There's a lot of factors in that statement that
no, there's not.
No, I'm not going to use the if statement because
go ahead.
We all know what happened against the Rockets.
So again, Andres, your basis is that because Kevin Durant left OKC, he couldn't get the job done, and he went to the Warriors. That's what makes Steph Curry better.
100% correct. And Steph outplaying him in games 5 through 7 when the lights got bright. Why you say that Curry blew a 3-1 lead in the finals, but you're not saying Kevin Durant also blew a 3-1 lead the series prior, right?
Nope.
Why?
Nope.
Why?
Because you want to know why?
Because it doesn't fit your agenda.
You want to know why? No, I'm gonna tell you exactly why. Because things like that early in the season have happened. We've seen a team that wasn't supposed to be up 3-1, like the Lakers. No, what was the Lakers up to? Yeah, I think it was the same 3-1. We've seen a team like the Lakers up on the Suns 3-1 in the first round.
They should have won that series.
No, they shouldn't have. They shouldn't have even been in the playoffs, really.
Yes, they should have.
No, based on the team. Because
Kobe was playing with 4 players from the YMCA.
Exactly, which is why they shouldn't have been in the playoffs. and they peaked. That was their peak. Them being up 3-1 was their peak, and then the other team being the better team turned it on.
Kobe was better. Kobe was efficient every first half in games 5, 6, and 7, and the team was like, we're not hitting any effing shots. Sorry for the language, Carl. We're not hitting any fucking shot, and all the players were bums, and they failed to use context when discussing that 3-1 lead blown, and it's terrible. But that's a topic for another day. But
back to what I was saying. The only reason, again, that's more held to a higher standard, because, again, it was history. It's never happened. We can say in other rounds that has happened. It's never happened. Especially the most winningest team ever. Let's not even skip over that. Not just any team, not just a great team. They had a good year, 60 games. They won the most games in the history of the NBA.
But if you're going to use Durant's injury, right, last year, so why can't you say that Steph wasn't 100% healthy in the finals? Because he played, right? That.
Every time he doesn't play good, y'all say he's not 100%.
He still was on the
court. I'm asking you a question. Oh, so he was still on the court.
Exactly. He played. He played. He played. LeBron played with a broken hand. Remember, he punched it. He played. Y'all didn't want to. Nobody wants to hear it.
He was ass in the last
guys, we're running up on time. Guys, we're running up on time. Final thoughts, Andres. Final thoughts on your closing statement, because we're running up on time.
Kevin Durant could not be an alpha before 2017, before he got to Golden State. There's numerous players, like 5 or 6 or 7, that had better playoff stats than he did before he joined Golden State. He was more efficient in Golden State because he had Steph's gravitation, and the Warriors were better. And the Warriors were still the same team with Steph on the floor, and they were terrible with Steph off the floor. When Kevin Durant was on the floor, they were just a normal team. Anytime you get the chance to sign Kevin Durant over Harrison Barnes, you're going to take it 10 out of 10 times. So miss me with that excuse that,
not if you already have a killer.
And he was a killer.
Anthony, your closing statements, bro.
Oh, all right. So I'm gonna just close with facts.
You got one.
Kevin Durant, 27 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 7 rebounds. Stephen Curry, 23.5 points, 6 assists, 4.5 rebounds. That's regular season. Okay. Again, he had. We already know who has who. PER. Stephen Curry, 23. Kevin Durant, this is for career, 24.
Check the playoffs.
What do you mean? Oh, my fault. That was the playoffs one. My fault. I'm sorry. I looked at the wrong one. That was the playoffs. I gave you the playoffs.
No, it was. I know it was.
And the regular season is worse. In the regular season, it's Kevin Durant, 25 PER. Stephen Curry, 23.8 PER. And then let's go to the playoff stats. In the playoffs, again.
And I'm sorry, man.
Kevin Durant, 29 points, 4 assists, and again, 7 rebounds. Stephen Curry in the playoffs, 26 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds.
7 assists and 5 rebounds.
And I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to cut you guys off. We're shut on time, but the pastor Mike Miller just texted me. Shout out to him. He said he has to be included on the second one where he's not talking to me. So I think we need to have a part 2 with Mike Miller. And I think Mike Miller's taking this out of Steph Curry.
I told you this is more like a handicap match anyway. I need 3. It need to be 1 against 3.
Next time we book this, I'll invite Mike on to debate this with you guys. Thank you for joining me. Thank you to all the fans for watching us live on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Please make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe to the Sports Hit List by the fans, for the fans. We can't thank the fans enough for commenting. Say that again.
Wear a mask.
Wear a mask. Telling people out there to wear a mask. Please stay safe. Make sure you tune in next Wednesday live. We'll have more NFL previews. We have the NBA season next week. Baseball is back. Thank you guys. Take care. Have a wonderful night. We love you.
Lakers Brooklyn finals next year.